Yo yo yo, what is up guys? It is the man in the cannon, Super Pigman here today with another video, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about some more Kenshi lore. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some things. I want to talk about how you guys have been showing great support for the channel. It's really motivating me to make more and more videos at a more consistent rate. I know I haven't uploaded in like 2 days or something, and before that it took me like 5 days. Sorry that my schedule is really messed up. I just, sometimes I need some time to research things and stuff like that, and I hope it's something you guys can understand. But we're 26 away from getting 200 subs, so hopefully you guys can help me reach that goal. And other than that, I want to make another statement, which is I'm gonna start posting on this game called Anthem. I want to post on the lore and stuff like that. It's gonna be lore just like I do Kenshi lore, the same type of format and things. But anyways, other than that, let's get straight into this video. So I want to talk about the terrains in Kenshi and the lore behind them. So now when you go around in Kenshi, you notice that every zone has its own distinct features. Like some areas have really fertile areas, like the swamp is super fertile. And I really want to just talk about like the lore in between places and how they differ from each other. So I think first thing we should start off with is the biggest thing ever, known as Obedience and the Foglands. Now, if you guys have ever been there, you know that there's a lot of fog, and I don't know if you guys do know the lore behind this, but of course if you've been watching my videos, you guys know the lore behind this. Obedience is pretty much the place where all the behemoths died. They fell over and died. Now, behemoths were like skeletons, except their loyalty was higher. They were higher. They were so loyal that they killed themselves for the humans. Now, of course, the humans didn't say kill yourself, or the organics, I should be saying, didn't say kill yourself. They had probably a way of wording it where they did it, and so they did that. And now that's why you can see. I'll show you in the image right now. That's why you can see all those hands, because those are all the hands of all the pretty much behemoths. So now what I'm thinking is the Fog Islands and Obedience were kind of this sub creation of what happened with those behemoths, because I think it's either one, temperature, or two, so there's so much acidity there that it's boiling everything. Now I think it might be acidity, but your character doesn't get burned by acid a lot, but maybe it's due to all the batteries that the behemoths have and stuff like that. They kind of just fried or something like that, and then it caused a bunch of smoke to just kind of come up from the ground. But I'm also thinking temperature, because maybe there is a bunch of liquid around and stuff, and it's just like it's just boiling. That's all it's doing, and it creates all this fog. So I think that's really the lore behind that area. Now let's go into the general middle area of the map, which is like the border zone area, the vein and stuff like that. I think those places were just where the war was fought, because if you think about it, wherever wars fought with advanced civilizations, shit gets leveled pretty quickly. And you can look back on historical references like the bombing of Hiroshima, what happened there, and you could take that and apply it to Kenshi, and that's probably what happened in that whole entire location. They were just dropping waves of bombs and artillery and stuff like that, and it just kind of killed off a lot of life. I mean, it's still possible to live there, don't get me wrong. There's an area where it's super fertile. It's by what's it called? I'm trying to think about it. What's it called? Blister Hill. That's what it's called. By Blister Hill, there's a really fertile area, and then in the terrain behind World's End, there's a bunch of fertile area, and I think the areas really differ on where the war was fought for the Second Empire. And now you guys are thinking, well, guys, this is kind of dumb, because all this happened like 2,000 years ago, man. And while that is true, it does take a long time for nature to do things, like the abandoned park where there was a nuclear reaction failure or something like that. That abandoned city or something like that. I'm not sure. That place won't be habitable for humans until 22,000. That's a long time. So I think maybe the Kenshi world's a little different. It's just different. But anyways, So I think that's what happened there. Now, the interesting thing I want to talk about is the Deadlands if you guys have ever been to the Deadlands, you'd know that, one, it's always raining there and it's acid rain, and two, you see a bunch of abandoned things. So I want to talk about the acid rain. Now, honestly, I do not know what happened in the Deadlands. All I know is that there was probably like some type of EMP thing that disabled everything in the area, because if you really look around, everything's like, all the iron spiders and stuff, they're just like chilling there, you know? They're just standing there, and you can't even click on them. It shows like the little do not thing, you know, with the circle and then the line in the middle when you hover your mouse over them. Now, the Deadlands is really dangerous. I suggest that you go there if you have things that protect you from acid. But also something I didn't know, and you guys will be surprised by this, is that the water in the Deadlands is also acidic. So that is actually something that's like really, wow. It just blows my mind, because I didn't know that it was acidic there, you know? But anyways, let's get on to another thing on the map that a lot of people are scratching their heads at, which even has me stumped: the eye. The eye is, you know, or yeah, I think the terrain is called the eye, and there's this little like lightning beam that just shoots down at random, and it shoots down really frequently. Like if it was lightning in like a storm and it just shot down frequently, that's the type of thing it's doing. Now I want to talk about that because, like, one, that thing can vaporize any of your humans or any of your squad, and it's big enough to do it in a big area too. So I want to talk about that. And number two is, we don't know where this thing's shooting from. We always see it's from the sky. So what I'm thinking, and this is a huge theory, this is a huge leap for me, is that maybe someone put this satellite, like this thing as a weapon, as a satellite in the sky to be manned by people. And maybe, you know, there's like a space station type of thing up there, and there's not that many people, and maybe they don't have a way of getting down, but they can like shoot, you know, down onto the surface and, like, you know, kind of like say, hey, we're still up here, hey, we're still up here, and seeing if they get a response from mankind. Because remember, they were an advanced civilization. Maybe they just didn't have the supplies anymore, you know, now, like, to get back down, because, you know, that could happen. You know, you can be up there in orbit, but, you know, you can't get down. Now, for this to actually work, though, it would have to be like stationed, like it doesn't move at all, which I think with the, you know, technology that they had, they probably could have achieved that. But this eye thing is really interesting, because that means if people are up there, then, you know, is there a certain way for us to get to them, you know, like launch up? And maybe this will be added in future updates or something, or maybe I'm just completely wrong and it's just like a beam being shot by like other people, see if there's still life around or anything. But I mean, generally speaking, I find the eye pretty interesting. And now let's go into the last major area, called the Ashlands. If you go into the bone fields, they'll talk about the Ashlands, and the Ashlands is a very, very volatile place. Bone fields, not that much, because bone fields, I think, is a little bit in front of where the Second Empire's capital was, not that far. But if you really look at Ashlands and you go running around and stuff like that, I think what happened there was humanity, or yeah, humans, I don't know, I think it was in the Second Empire, maybe. In the Second Empire, I don't know how far the technology was, it must have been pretty superior, but they just probably like just bombed the fuck out of the Ashlands, excuse my language. They just bombed it and bombed it and bombed it and kept on bombing it. And it probably got to the point where it just, everything was destroyed so much that it's just, everything's gone. You know, there's nothing left there. And so this, like, I guess it just, you know, destroyed everything so much that made like it kind of inhabitable in a way for humans, because it's always raining acid there too. And the only people that like live there are skeletons. So, you know, pretty much that area is really confined, and I think that area really got destroyed by humanity. It was probably pretty cool, but they call it the Ashlands for a reason. It's all the leftover ashes from all the bombs being dropped on them, maybe. But hopefully you guys did enjoy. Remember, leave a like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're almost to 200, so let's get there, guys. Peace.